Alright, hello everyone and welcome. I am back after a day away. I am DSP, of course. Today is Tuesday, March 28th, 2017. I am excited for a fun day here of gameplay on stream of a brand new release right here on release day. I hope that you're excited as well. Welcome everyone, whether you're watching this live on the stream on Twitch or if you're watching this pre-stream on YouTube afterward. Appreciate you being here. So here's the deal, folks. Here's what we're doing. Today it's going to be the Dark Souls 3 final DLC. It's the final piece of content for Dark Souls 3, and from all reports, could be the final piece of content for the Dark Souls series, because From Software seems to be of at least the mind that they're moving on. You know, they're going to be working on Bloodborne and maybe future series, and this could be it. This is the final tasting, the stick a fork in it after this one's done, right? Now, this DLC released at various times overnight. Apparently, PC users got it, like, early yesterday, which is silly. They got it at, like, early afternoon. And I guess that PS4 players got it overnight, and so did Xbox One players. You know, I didn't do a midnight release or nothing of it, but I figured I'm going to be focusing on this all week. Better get a nice night's rest in time for it, right? So, yes, I have heard many things about this DLC. First of all, I've heard it could be anywhere from 6 to 9 hours long, dependent upon your skill level. So if you're really good at Dark Souls, you could probably get through it in around 6 hours. If you're terrible at Dark Souls, you'll probably never beat it. If you're good at Dark Souls, or at least decent like me, it could take upwards of 9 hours to complete, alright? Now the good news here is that I really have no other big new releases this week. Everything else I'm doing this week is kind of the continuation of something I've already been doing, like Zelda or Mass Effect or Danganronpa, or it's something short like The Walking Dead, which I'll talk about in a moment because I am doing that later tonight, okay? So, that's cool that this could be my main focus for streaming today and tomorrow, and depending on how well I do, I mean, if I'm really sucking and getting destroyed, then probably it'll take me Thursday as well to complete this DLC. So for the next couple to several days, you're going to see me playing Dark Souls here on stream, and of course these videos will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube as well. Again, being that this is the supposedly toughest piece of downloadable content for Dark Souls ever, it could be quite interesting. I guess we'll see what happens. See, the thing is, you know, even though I've been playing From Software games, or From Software style games recently, if you remember in January I did my redemption run through the original Dark Souls 1, and then last month I played Nioh all month. Really long game, right? But that was not from Software. I don't know how long this is going to take me. The thing is, I've actually been in contact with a few Dark Souls / From Software games style streamers, because I've actually been auto-hosting them here on Twitch. In particular, I've been talking to Tolo Mayor, who is a full-time kind of From Software streamer. That's all he streams here on Twitch. And even he said, first of all, if you've been playing Nioh last month, that it completely throws off your Dark Souls game, because Nioh was such a game with such responsive controls, ran at 60 frames per second. You know what I mean? It was like a very, very responsive, different kind of game. Yeah, it was Dark Souls-esque, but it is a different animal. There's no real startup between when you go to do a dodge and when it happens. There's no startup between when you press the attack button and when it happens, versus in Dark Souls, it's purposely designed to be kind of a sluggish game. So that might throw me off, just for the hell of it. That might throw me off, because, you know, I'm so used to getting such responsive stuff last month, and now I'm going back to the old school sluggishness again of the Dark Souls series. In addition, everyone is saying this is just really difficult, that they purposely made it super grueling for a reason. They realized this was the last hurrah for Dark Souls, and they really wanted to give it every piece of possible effort to just destroy the players. Now, that's good and bad. It's good because, hey, let's face it, for you viewers, you're probably in for a treat. You're going to see me get my ass handed to me, cheap instant death. I've heard there's a lot of cheap deaths, like just beginner's traps, and a lot of stuff that is just ridiculous at this point. I've also heard that this DLC it basically assumes you've beaten the game because you can't even play the DLC until you've beaten the game. Yeah. Apparently, this DLC, the bonfire to get to it is at the final boss room. So if you haven't played through the entirety of the game and beaten it already, you can't even play the DLC. Now let's face it, how many people haven't beaten Dark Souls 3 yet who are going to be playing this DLC? Probably zero. Unless there's someone who just has been holding off on the franchise until all the DLC content was released and now they're trying to do a speed run or something. I don't know. But the bottom line is we've all beaten the game at this point if we're, playing it, right? So, yeah, the game kind of expects you to be high level. I've actually heard the game's recommended level to do this DLC is level 100, and I think I'm level 99. So, I may be right in there with what is kind of the expected level for you to be doing the DLC. I honestly think that last DLC, that was Ashes of Ariandel, I think that I was over-leveled for that one a bit, because some of the enemies and stuff were pretty much pushovers. I guess we're going to see. We're going to see how it goes. So, for you viewers, this may be a treat. For me, this may be one hell of a grueling few sessions of gameplay. But, hey, I wouldn't have it any other way, right? That's Dark Souls for you. That's what the franchise is about, and I understand that now. It's not like I was 6+ years ago where I didn't get it, and I was raging and being all frustrated and shit. Now, I mean, I'm not to say I'm not going to rage. I'm probably going to. But I think it's going to be an enjoyable experience overall. Also, keep in mind that this is the very first From Software / Dark Souls style stream where it's more interactive. So for those of you who are cheering and subbing and leaving tips and stuff during the stream, I will be giving you shout-outs. You'll have the on-screen notifications. If you guys didn't notice, we've got a new notification today, again from Dr. Zombius. It's another new one that he's been working on. He says he's going to be working on these from time to time so we can keep the streams fresh, okay? So anyone who tips me today, you're going to actually see this new on-screen notification. We already had 2 tips, so I don't know how many people noticed that or not. But yeah, a totally new on-screen notification for tips today, which is cool. No, wait a minute, not tips. I screwed that up. I said that wrong. It's actually for bits, not tips. I completely screwed that up. It's for bit cheers. Anyone who cheers with bits today, you'll see a new on-screen notification. Apologies there if I confused anyone. The tips notification is cool too, but it's not a new one. It's one that's been there for about a week, okay? I just took a sip of my V8 drink here. Alright, so that's the deal, folks. Today, 4 hours of Dark Souls, the Ringed City DLC. We'll see how far we can get, okay? Later tonight, I am playing The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 3. It was released earlier today. And I will be playing that offline, meaning I will not be live streaming that. And you might say, okay, why is Phil playing that offline? Well, it's very simple, because The Walking Dead is a narrative-based game, much like my ongoing Danganronpa playthrough. I don't think that those games would lend themselves well to live streaming, only because, there's always going to be people who are going to try to spoil stuff, and I certainly don't want people to be coming in and purposely doing, cheers and stuff for low bit amounts, just so they could try to throw out big major spoilers and stuff to the stuff going on in a narrative-based playthrough. So moving forward, folks, any playthrough that I do that's, heavily narrative-based, meaning like a Telltale Games. By the way, it was just announced Guardians of the Galaxy. A new Telltale game is coming out shortly, and yeah, I'll be definitely playing that one, okay? So games like that, games like Danganronpa, where it's not a lot of interactive gameplay, there's not a lot of things to respond to, it's more just narrative-based, those are going to primarily be playing offline, so that I don't have that kind of a spoiler element, alright? And that's good, because the bottom line is, folks, that, I actually grew up on YouTube. I want to say I kind of did. I kind of grew up and matured on YouTube for the past 8+ years, being an offline gamer, meaning I wasn't live streaming all the time. It wasn't about that element. And there is a hardcore group of fans of mine who've been watching my content since 2008 who like that element. They don't like that, oh man, there's more interactivity now and there's people who are, feel maybe getting spoiled on things and stuff like that. So, I obviously still don't want to abandon those people. And so I do want to say thank you to, if you are a longtime viewer or whatever, that you are still around. You'll understand that some of the changes that have happened just had to happen, mostly because of YouTube changes and stuff. I've tried to do my YouTube videos and everything in one methodology for 8+ years, and sadly, as of last month, it didn't become viable for business anymore to do that. All right. So, sadly, because of that, it is what it is, you know? I'm okay with these interactive streams. I think they're fun. I think that, in fact, shout out to Fairly Stone, who just did a 150-bit cheer, and he said, please become a Dark Souls streamer. I love the DSP death emo. And also shout out to Edicus, who just did a 20-bit cheer. He says, I'm working my way towards that next level bit badge. Yeah, once you give a certain amount of bits, you earn different bit badges here on Twitch for the cheers that you've done. So if you ever wonder, what are those badges next to people's names? They're all based on different things. You know, the crowns are because you're a sub of mine and how long you've been a sub. And that little kind of geometric symbol is one based off of how many bits that you've cheered to a certain streamer. So anyway, yeah, narrative-based content moving forward will be offline, all right? There may be a few exceptions. If there's ever like a high-profile major freaking release that everyone wants to see, then maybe I'll do a stream or two of it or whatever. But at this point, all these narrative-based games will be played offline exclusively for YouTube, all right? So if you want to see The Walking Dead, later today on my YouTube channel, DSPGaming, that will be uploaded. Check it out over there, okay? Now, for the rest of this week, the way I'm approaching this is basically my stream is going to be Dark Souls until I beat this DLC, all right? So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, people are saying it's anywhere from 6 to 9 hours long, so I may beat it tomorrow, or I may need a third stream on Thursday. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, okay? Ooh, shout out to Nanto Shinkin, who says that he's been a viewer of mine since 2008. That is awesome, man. I know that I actually have a lot of people who've been dedicated viewers for a long time, and I like to call them the silent majority, meaning these are the people who have watched my stuff, they're big fans of mine, but they don't necessarily speak up all the time. And it's funny because a lot of the people who are the loudest end up being the minority. They scream and yell and they want change and they want this and they want that, but they're not necessarily the people who are there watching this stuff every day. So, shout out to those who've been around for quite a long time. I appreciate you, coming back through all the trials and tribulations we've been through. All the YouTube changes, streaming changes, everything that I've been through. I'm still here. I'm still going. And I had no plans to leave as long as we could still make stuff get together and work. And, as I said, as of yesterday, that vlog that I put out on the King of Hate vlogs that explained my situation, hopefully if we can get through April, it looks like we're going to be in the clear, but we have to see, okay? Nuka-Cola King just did a 30-bit cheer and says, notice me, Phil Senpai. Oh, boy. Japanese memes. Okay, folks. All right, so, yes, today, Dark Souls and The Walking Dead. Tomorrow, Dark Souls and Danganronpa. Yes, tomorrow I'll be returning to my Danganronpa playthrough, which I know a lot of people are excited for, okay? A lot of people really have enjoyed my Danganronpa playthrough and cannot wait to see it continue. So that's a good thing. I'm excited for that. I want more Danganronpa going on here. So, we'll see how that goes tonight. More Danganronpa hype, right? Get hype for that. I'm very excited for it. And see more of that plot and see where that goes. I'm really liking that playthrough. Tomorrow. And then, Thursday we'll play it by ear. And what I mean by that is that, what we're going to do is, it may be more Dark Souls, it may not. It all depends on how things go with the Dark Souls playthrough. If it's not Dark Souls, I'll probably be going back to maybe Zelda for a session. Because I am very near the end of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In fact, I'd say 1 to 2 more sessions, and it looks like I'll actually be wrapping up my Zelda playthrough. Finally, after, 3+ weeks of playing the game and over 60 hours of gameplay, I'm finally approaching the end of Zelda. Holy shit, what a playthrough that's been, right? So that should definitely end by the end of this week. And then, of course, I am going to resume my Mass Effect Andromeda playthrough later this week as well. I already said this last night on Twitter, but I'll say this again. I know that there are people who like my KO Gaming channel. This is the channel where I do edited style content, like game reviews and first impressions videos and countdowns. And, now I have fan-submitted content up on that channel. That channel's been dead for 2 weeks. And some people have been saying, what is this again? Phil's not doing, content for KO Gaming. What is going on? It's not that I'm abandoning the channel or anything, okay? The problem is that right now I've been so involved in so many different long games, like Zelda, right? Like Danganronpa and now Mass Effect. They're taking up all of my time. And the bottom line is, if I was doing edited content constantly, I would never get through these playthroughs. So I kind of have to weigh and balance, what's the better thing. But the bottom line is, very soon, like I said, I'll be finishing Zelda. Once I finish Danganronpa, I actually want to do an impressions video on that. I'm planning on doing a mini review of this Dark Souls 3 DLC that I'm playing this week. Obviously, when I finish Mass Effect, I'll be reviewing that. So there's a lot of things that are going to amount into content for KO Gaming very shortly. But I actually have to get to that point, okay? I have to get to the point where I can actually do that stuff. So, shortly, but not yet. The next 1 to 2 weeks, you'll probably see content start to return to KO Gaming, okay? In addition, in the next couple of weeks, it's actually, I believe, the first 2 weeks of April, KO Gaming is going to transition out of its Machinima partnership into the new partnership for it. So once that's done and secured, then it's kind of like, all right, now we're safe. Now we're in a position where I don't have to worry about content not getting ads and stuff like that. So it's kind of a combination of factors that came together that kind of made it kind of hold off on putting any stuff up on KO Gaming, but it will come back shortly, okay, everyone? All right, I want to get started. I don't want to go too much longer on the pre-stream. So a couple quick things in regards to, in particular, right now, with my situation and what's going to happen in April, all right? April's going to be a tumultuous and crazy month for me, folks, and here's why. My birthday is in April. We've got some high-profile, cool playthroughs coming up for you, like Persona 5 and Yooka-Laylee in April. There's going to be some fun events coming up in April, like the Worst Games Ever Marathon, which, by the way, patrons right now are voting on the games for the Worst Games Ever Marathon, which include games like Ride to Hell Retribution, Mind Jack, Revolution 60, Scarface. Yeah, I know, Scarface, which a lot of people voted as a terrible game. Don't ask me. I don't think the game's terrible. I just think that it's very outdated and archaic. And there's one more game as well, and it's not coming to mind in particular right now, but I know there's 5 games. Oh, Bad Rats, I think one of them was called. It's supposed to be like a very terrible Steam game. Infamously bad. So the patrons right now are voting on these 5 games, and I'm going to basically be playing about 3 of them in a marathon setting at some point in April as well. So just from what I mentioned to you, now I'm sure, of course, there's more stuff going to happen in April. That's a great month of content right there. I mean, just what I mentioned sounds like it's going to be a really fun month, right? The problem here, sadly, is that April is going to be the most tumultuous month financially ever for me. And the reason being, because February was such a shitty month. If you remember, February was the month when my YouTube ad revenue absolutely plummeted out of nowhere. There was no warning it was going to happen. And I hadn't set up yet on Twitch to make up for it or anything. I don't know what's going to happen in April in regards to my financial situation, because, I got bills due. I got stuff that needs to get paid. And right now, it's a situation where financially I'm actually hinging on my parents. They said they're going to give me a birthday present. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make ends meet. All right. Now, the good news is this month has been an amazing month. The month of March, because I left Machinima and I'm with Curse now on my DSPGaming channel, the ad revenue has gone up. That's good. I've been doing tremendously well here on Twitch. That's great. You guys coming out every day and cheering and subbing and tipping me has been amazing. This new interactive style of streaming has turned out to be very, very profitable, and I love it. I want to keep doing it. I've got a new positive attitude every day here, right? Every day when I'm out here playing games, people are saying it's a lot better. It's a different kind of situation. It's just a more positive one, and people are really enjoying it, right? So that's great. But, folks, we have to get to May, because the bottom line is I don't see any of the money from Twitch or from YouTube or anything from this month until May. It's a 2-month stagger. So right now, in particular, folks, if you want to help me get through April, all right, 2 ways you could do it. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. And by the way, there's 3 days left to pledge to the March Patreon. If you pledge in the next 3 days, you can get in, all right, on the next big goal event, which is going to be an interactive Twitch and chill event where I'm going to be playing Jackbox Party Pack, and if you pledge $5 or more, you could get in and play in that event. It's guaranteed that you'll get into that event and be able to play at least one game, if not more, with me. So definitely for people who've wanted to do that kind of stuff and haven't been able to get into those sessions the past couple of months, this is your opportunity to do so, all right? Now, there's also a bunch of other perks that you can actually get. Check it out for yourself. All right, patreon.com/DarksidePhil. But I would ask, please, if you can pledge in the next 3 days and you've been considering it and haven't yet, please do. I need your help. And that I'm going to actually get those funds for the March stuff in the next couple of days. It's actually the first week of April when I get those funds. That's going to be a significant way for me to help pay my bills this month coming up. And then the other way, folks, is if you're here and you are watching the stream and you want to participate, the best way to help me out right now is tips. And if you're interested, how do you do tips? What are you talking about? Go to below the stream, okay? And check out underneath the stream. There's a whole page here of links. It's the rules for the stream and stuff like that. There's a section there for tips. Click on that. It'll bring you to the tips page. If you leave a tip, you'll get an on-screen notification. I'll give you a shout-out during the stream. But that I get right away as well. That's going to significantly help me in April, all right? So those are the two main ways right now, Patreon or tips, that you can help me out in the next few weeks as I try to get through the month of April. Once I get through April, I think we're going to be in the clear, and I think that things are going to be a lot more positive, but we have to get there, okay? All right. All right, everyone. So that is it for the pre-stream. I am excited for the DLC here. I hope you are as well. It is now time to start with the gameplay, all right, folks? So, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. And, I think it's time to begin. What do you guys think? No? No? You want to hear me keep talking? Oh, okay. Alright, people don't want any gameplay today. They said they just want to hear me talk for about 4 hours straight. So, alright, so gameplay's canceled. Instead, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to talk for about 4 hours. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. We're going to actually get started with the gameplay now, okay? Alright, so thanks to... I got a couple shout-outs here to do. Hold on. Because I know I've been talking and I haven't really been paying attention. Hold on, I got a few thank you shout-outs to do here. My laptop's a little delayed today, so my apologies. Shout-out to LightningSide17, who did a $5 tip. He says, I was off for a week with university stuff, but like always, thank you for the good times, Phil. Thank you, LightSide17, for your support. I appreciate that. And thanks to Wolf of the Dawn, who did a 10-bit cheer, and he says, no, Phil, I want you to do 4 whole hours of talking and no gameplay kappa. Well, there you go. I guess it's canceled. The stream's canceled. Alright. Hold on. I'm actually, I'm refreshing here. And, hey, Lightning Side, I got a question for you. You just did one $5 tip, right? Because I think my Muxy thing has glitched out. It says you tipped me twice, but I don't think that's correct. I think that it's screwed up. Yeah, I think it's screwed up. Yeah. It's weird because you're the only person who it doubled up on, though. So I don't know. I don't think this is the case, but at the same time, I can't confirm. I hope you didn't get accidentally double charged, is what I'm trying to say here. You might want to check your stuff there, because I hope you didn't get accidentally double charged for a tip or something. Alright, but anyway, we're going to get started. Thank you, everyone. Ending the pre-stream now, and we will begin with the Dark Souls stream immediately. Well, actually, I take that back. I'm probably going to blow my nose, and then we'll start with the Dark Souls stream, okay? Alright, folks, thank you, and let's begin.